Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to take this time to welcome each and every one of you to the driver's seat. This is episode 4, where we're going to be talking about dashboard insights. But we are so excited to bring you the driver's seat once again. This is where we give you the opportunity to drive transformation one change at a time. And we're so excited about our guest. We'll introduce her in just a minute. But as always, I want to acknowledge the great team that is with me. I'm your host. Did I say I was the host? Did I say my name? I'm Ray Belton, your host today. I'm so excited to get going. I didn't even say who I am. So, hi everybody. Happy Thursday. I hope you're ready to have a great time in the driver's seat today. Before we really get started, as I was about to say, I want to introduce some of my team who are with me, who work behind the scenes to make this happen for you each and every month. So, without further ado, let me first introduce Miss Sad Moffitt. Can you say hello to everyone?
Hello, everyone. Happy Friday Eve.
Hello, Sad and Consuela Frazier.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you again.
All right. Consuela is actually going to be our co-host for today, so she'll be sharing some insights with you today. We're excited to hear about that. But we also have the leader of the organizational development side of HR, the one and only Miss Denise Weiss.
Good morning, everyone. We're so happy to see you guys. Another episode, well, number 4. And I'm sure Ray will mention this, but how many of you actually completed your engagement survey? Can we see those thumbs up? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tallying up everything. And we'll let you know, but thank you guys for your support. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you, team. And thank you, everyone. You know, that was just one step. Taking that survey is just one step of making your voice known in the city of Houston. That's one way that you step into the driver's seat. But now that we've introduced ourselves, you know how we do this. We start out with a connection before content. And so today, the question that I want to pose in our connection before content is, when you get feedback, that's what today is about. You know, survey data, AKA feedback. When you get feedback, what's your reaction? What's your reaction to feedback? Let me know in the chat. Give me some emojis to share how you react to feedback. So if you say, I want to understand it, give me a light bulb emoji. If it's I'm thinking about how it applies to me, the thinking emoji. If I start thinking about what to change, that gear emoji. Or if you're not sure what to do, it's the sweating, hold on, what is this called? The sweating, grinning emoji. I'm trying to get my emoji game up. Y'all can see I'm still working on it. But I can see you in the chat. There's a lot of light bulbs. I want to understand the feedback. I have a lot of light bulbs. Jennifer says, I have to think about how it applies to me. Stephen says, I don't know what you're talking about. Talking about any feedback, Stephen. any 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 feedback that you receive. I start thinking, Francisco says, Donato's all smiles. We even have, here it is, the one I had to learn about, the sweating, grinning emojis. Anybody else want to chime in about how you react when you first receive feedback? All right, all right. Got some hearty responses here. And most people say, I want to understand it. That's wonderful. When we think about people getting in the driver's seat, you're in essence saying, hey, before I drive the car, I want to have some kind of map about where I'm going and how I'm going. And that's what this data does. It gives you a map, so to speak. Arturo is thinking about it. And Acne says, discuss more for going in depth if possible. All right, all right. We're curious. We're curious and inquisitive. I tried to put both of those words together if you caught it. But yes, yes, thank you all so much for sharing that and for breaking the ice, if you will, about how we react when we receive feedback. Well, I see because we have so many people who are really thinking about this and want to know this, it's time to start jumping into our topic for today is dashboard insights. But before I do that, I do want to say every time we come here to the driver's seat, our goal, our aim for this webinar series as a whole, as you can see on the screen, is for you to discover how to apply engagement drivers to change. We really believe that you show up here because you want to make a difference. You want to make a change. People show up because they care. People show up because they want to make a difference. And that's not just to this webinar. You show up to work every day because of that very reason. At least that's what I believe about you. And I'm glad about you. I'm happy for you. And I'm happy that you are a part of this movement. And so today, we don't have a specific driver that we're getting into, but because we need to understand the feedback about the drivers, we're going to talk about these insights and why we collect feedback. So I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, Miss Consuela Frazier, and she's going to share a little bit about why we collect feedback.
Hi, everyone. I am Consuela, and it's a pleasure to serve as your co-host today as we discuss dashboard insights. So instead of focusing on a single engagement driver today, as Ray mentioned, today we're zeroing in on practical ways you can use data that you receive from this year's employee engagement survey to drive meaningful change. So getting feedback is enlightening, but it only becomes truly impactful when we use it to make decisions to drive and initiate change. Now, most of us aren't formally trained in data analysis, but the reality is we practice it every day in intuitive ways. For example, you may notice a teammate who seems frustrated or a project isn't moving as expected. Well, you naturally assess what's happening, adjust your approach, and try to influence a better outcome. That's informal data analysis in action. Engagement reports or employee engagement reports work the same way. They make the insights explicit so we can move from intuitive observation to intentional action, turning what we notice into meaningful improvements for ourselves, our teams, and our entire organization. So today we'll hear from Judge Nelly Trevino Santos, who has led teams through the involve and evolve process of turning insights into action. By the end of this session, our goal is for you to feel confident in the insights from your engagement reports, so you see that they aren't just numbers, but they're tools to help you drive transformation, one change at a time. Ray, back to you.
Thank you so much, Consuela. That was an awesome explanation of why we collect feedback, and more so, how it doesn't have to be as formal and technical as you might think. It's the everyday things that you do that you can apply to that technical side that you often imagine that dashboard insights are about. But now it is my pleasure. Consuela already leaked who our guest is, and now I get the pleasure of introducing you our special guest for today, the one, the only Judge Nelly Santos. Somebody give a round of applause. Let me see it in the chat. If you would give a warm welcome on the screen, you see a whole bunch of information. But I know she's just excited as I am for us to get started today. And she's not about all the bells, the whistles, the hoopla. She's about making a change. And I welcome her. We've had some talks offline, and I am so excited for what this is going to look like today. I want to thank everybody for that warm welcome. Judge, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited, Ray, to be here this morning to just have a chat with you guys. I want to thank you for inviting me, and again, I'm super excited to be here today.
And we are equally excited for you to be here. Before, just like with the webinar itself, we're not going to just start asking some questions about data and insights. We actually want to kind of get to know you a little bit. And
Okay.
so, something that was in the bio that I had on the screen is that you're a native Houstonian, first generation Mexican American who was raised right here in Houston's Second Ward and East End area. So, for that little East End girl growing up in Houston, could you imagine yourself being the presiding judge today?
Oh my gosh, Ray. No, no, absolutely not. I would have never imagined. We tell our kids, dream, you can do anything you want. And while my parents did show me that, I just never thought I would be in this position. I'm so grateful to, of course, God, my parents for immigrating here. I'm the youngest of 9 kids, and 6 of my siblings were born in Mexico, and 3 of us were born here in Houston. I'm grateful to Mayor Whitmire for having selected me for this position. And just more than anything, I'm grateful to the team that I have here at the municipal courts that supports me every single day. So no, I didn't imagine. I know my parents and my late husband are also extremely proud and smiling from heaven. So yes, thank you for asking me that question. I told you you're not going to make me cry, but that's a good question. Um, I'm very proud of my roots here in Houston. Not that if you're not from Houston, I'm sure you got here as quickly as you can or could, but just very proud. I actually have never left Houston. I went to the University of Houston for my undergraduate and my law degree. So I'm a Houston girl.
Through and through.
That's right. That's right.
Through and through. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And this unlikely place that you end up in. I want to make a connection with our audience because everyone in our audience is not in a leadership position. Everyone doesn't have formal authority, and sometimes you can't imagine yourself being the person that's going to make the decisions, or they can't imagine themselves being that person that's going to take the data and make some dramatic change. But given that thought, and when we think about that, can you think about a time in your life, or you were growing up in your life, where you had to speak up, like you had to stand up and speak up for something that you thought was right to make positive change?
Yes, there's many examples, but one that I wanted to share with the team, it's actually kind of funny, but impactful. About 6 months ago, I had the pleasure of having lunch with my former volleyball coach from high school, along with my teammates. She actually was having a 90th birthday, and her daughters invited all of us to get to see her. Hadn't seen her in many, many, many years. She's still very sharp and just a wonderful person. And we're sitting enjoying dinner, and she's telling me how proud she was that I've got appointed to this position. And she asks me, Nellie, do you remember what you told me at our championship game or one of our championship games during one of our breaks or one of our timeouts? And I thought, oh my God, I don't remember what I told Ray Belton last week. And she wants me to remember what I said to her 40 years ago. And she said, I said, no, I don't remember. And she said, we took a time out, and you said to me, coach, she said, you told me in a very nice way, in a sweet tone, coach, would you please not yell at us about what we did wrong while we're playing on the court? Could you please wait until we get to the timeout to tell us? And I did not remember telling her that at all, because I think I would have been scared to tell her she would have benched me and said, oh, you don't want to get yelled at? Go sit on the bench. But she said to me that that made a huge impact in how she coached from then on. That she, took my suggestion and, tried to be more mindful of how she treated the players. So for me, I wanted to share that with y'all because, first of all, it probably took a lot of courage on my part. I don't remember doing it, and the way I told her, she said it was, in a nice, kind tone. And then the fact that she says that that really changed her. So I share that for the, employees on the call, that how something that you have the courage to share with your leadership team, and how you share that suggestion, you never know what kind of impact you can make, even if it's a suggestion on how to do something different in the workplace. And for the leaders on the team, you know, on the call to say, well, sometimes when employees give us these suggestions, first of all, don't kind of make them feel bad, or, uh, just welcome the suggestions. And you never know, it could change how you are as a leader. So yes, that was had a big impact. She shared that with me, and I was very grateful to hear that. And I think it has also impacted me even more now and in my new leadership role.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. Something that you mentioned was, at that time, you 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 would probably imagine yourself being afraid to speak up in that way. It's a lot of science out there, a lot of studies that show that we're much more bold when we're children, but then life starts happening, and we slowly, lose a lot of that bold, adventurous side of ourselves, and we do find it kind of difficult to speak up or to, you know, shake the boat, rattle the boat, a little bit. So let us know what are some of the things that you do as a leader to build a culture where people feel comfortable sharing feedback with you.
Well, as everyone knows, we've had a lot of changes since May. We too here at the municipal courts had a lot of staff who accepted the retirement package. So we lost about 40 employees. I shouldn't say lost, but where they were able to choose that great opportunity. So listening to employees' suggestions on how to do things better, um, or even just a small thing that might make their day-to-day work life better, is very important to me. Um, I listen, I try to welcome suggestions, and when I do get the suggestions, I try my best to incorporate some of the things. Obviously, as leaders, we can't incorporate all of the suggestions. Some could be budgetary reasons. Um, some could just be we can't make that kind of change in our processes. But I'll give you an example of a few suggestions that in these 8 months that I've had this position, I have had staff say, well, we need to do a little more fun things to kind of get us through the day as a team. And so we've had a few things where, like, say, a snow cone day, where we made snow cones for the staff and welcomed them to come and kind of congregate and take a little break from work and enjoy a nice treat. Um, we've done other things as a team to just make sure we're balancing the hard work that they're doing for the courts with also having a little break to have some fun and some laughter. For Hispanic Heritage uh, Month, we did a Loteria Day, which is a Mexican bingo, and we kind of got together in one of the courtrooms that we weren't using for the day and had some small prizes. And we even did it virtually for those that we have at our satellite courts that couldn't attend. So again, just very small things. Another suggestion that I had from our team is when it's really, really hot here in Houston in the summer, as we all know, uh, our bailiffs wear uniforms, and it's very important for the court order. They wear long sleeve shirts with a tie, and they look extremely professional. But can you imagine a white long sleeve shirt with a tie in the heat in Houston? So for the summer, we have summer attire, and they were allowed to wear polo shirts 2 days out of the week. Well, someone suggested, well, can we make it 3 days? Or actually, they said every day, right? Which, again, bold move on the part of the employee to say, every day we want to wear the polo, but I have to balance, um, the importance of how they appear in court. So I didn't do all 5 days, but I added one extra day, right? So it's the small things that matter. We've also had suggestions on processes on how to make something a little smoother for the citizens that come to court. So again, it's just important to listen to the suggestions that employees are making and try to incorporate them, if not 100%, maybe just a part of it.
Hmm. Hmm. So for leaders like yourself who are trying to create this culture uh, where people feel safe to bring their ideas out and to share ideas and concerns and everything, sometimes that listening can be hard. It's somewhat of an art, and sometimes the things that we hear are difficult. We don't necessarily like what we hear. Um, can you give some leaders out there some advice about getting that difficult or hard feedback?
Well, we're all human. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm perfect and that when somebody, gives a suggestion, um, that I'm always, or a critique, right? Sometimes it's a
Hmm.
critique.
Hmm.
um, I like to think that I'm, present in the moment and mindful to listening to those, and but sometimes I even have to come back and reflect on it and say, how can I incorporate that critique or that feedback in just a small way? For an example, we have over 200 employees, and sometimes the word, it's sort of like when you're at home with your kids, the word fairness comes up, right? Well, that's not fair. They get to do this, or it doesn't seem fair. And you could just ignore that and say, oh, well, life isn't fair, too bad. But really, you have to stop and think, why do they feel that way? What are we doing? So I've had that come up,
And I go back and I challenge the leadership and say, well, why do they think something's not fair? Could we maybe make a small little change to make sure that, if we're sending employees to the various satellite courts, they're not always excited to do that, or they have to work a second shift. Is there a way that we can do so where it might give an employee the opinion that, oh, okay, they listen to us. This seems a little bit more fair. So I listen to that. You can't always address the concerns, but I will tell you, I'm very open to hearing those suggestions, and I challenge the leadership to how we can make small changes that make the employees feel that we hear them. Because at the end of the day, Mayor Whitmire may have selected me for this position. I have the credentials, I have the education, but Nelly Santos cannot do this job alone. I need every single one of the municipal court judges and employees to do a good job. So I need the customer service representatives in the courtrooms. We call them the clerks in the courtrooms. The judges can't do their job without the clerks. We need the bailiffs in the courtrooms to make sure there's order, that the citizens are listening to what's the judge is saying. And we need the finance team in the background, right? Making sure we're staying within the budget. Just every single, I could start naming all of them that are the heart and soul of municipal courts. It is not me. It is the employees that make this department, and every citizen that walks in, my expectation, and as is the mayor's, that they are treated with the best customer service, right? So how does that look if employees are not happy? They don't feel heard, they don't feel empowered. How are they going to greet the citizens, with a smile and welcome them if the leadership is not, extending that same um, positivity to them? So
Mhm.
I really rely every single day, even sometimes, like, we work 24 hours a day. We have staff that, for example, when law enforcement is out on the street, they pull over someone in the middle of the night and that person has a warrant. We have staff that works that has to verify the warrant and relay that information to the police officer so that the officer knows, hey, this is a good warrant. I'm going to have to arrest this person.
Mhm.
So imagine, if I didn't have staff that's willing to come in and have that third, we call it the third shift, that's a very important function. So again, they are the heart and soul of this department. And so I want to listen to their suggestions and do everything in my power to um, make them feel heard.
I love that. Is it safe to say, when I hear you talk about the way you listen and the way you reflect on things, is it safe to say that in order for you to find those areas that you can implement things, part of the process is not taking those difficult critiques personal? Is that safe to say?
Oh, but that's easier said than done, right? I mean, how many of us, even in your personal life, my kids are grown adults now, and we have a very good relationship. But even with, now if they say something that I interpret as a critique, I'll sometimes find myself, well, but, and you start making an excuse as to why, I can't do this, and I've learned every single day I try to improve myself. I'm still working on it, right? I'm going to be like that great coach, she's 90 years old, and just the words that she shared with me, her kind words, imagine that. So, I want to be that same person and improve myself. So when you do hear a critique, it's human nature to get defensive, but I just challenge, but not only the leaders on the call, but the employees too, because employees, sometimes as leaders, we have to give critique, but the important thing is how you give that critique, right? It's in the delivery and treating someone with respect and kindness, and you know, in giving the critique. And also when someone is giving a suggestion or a critique, again, give it in a nice, kind way that's positive, as opposed to, well, I can give examples on a negative way to say something. So, and we all have all heard them. So I would just kind of challenge everyone that whether you're a leader, even if you're not in a leadership position necessarily by title, you are still a leader as an employee. You could
Hmm.
have just started working here as a customer service representative one. You are still a leader because how you conduct yourself, you are showing other people how you love your job, or even when things get difficult, you're here to serve the citizens. So I really think everyone on the call is a leader, and just again, giving feedback, do it in a positive, constructive way. And when you are given critique, take a moment, take a breath before you respond. And just remember that person is being vulnerable in sharing that critique, right? It takes a lot to want to say something to a leader about a positive change. And if they respond in a negative way, then you've really just shut down um, that employee, and they're going to go tell the other employees, hey, don't ask, don't try to make a suggestion because they're going to get upset. So I it isn't easy, but life isn't easy, right? So we have to come in with a positive attitude and try to really, if you focus on how important the employees are to your business, I think it'll make things easier on how you address um, concerns. Even if you have an employee that's not following a policy, you do it in a very respectful way, coaching manner to try to help them succeed, not say, how can I use this to, you know, eventually fire the employee? Well, that's not what we want to do. We want to coach them to bring them up to the level that you want them to be at.
All right, all right. Awesome, awesome. Now I definitely see why we invited you here. Aren't y'all glad? Aren't y'all glad we invited the judge?
Wow.
Which, by the way, let me take a brief moment to say to everybody. I probably didn't say this at the beginning because I was so excited to talk myself. If you guys have any questions, make sure you put them in the chat. We're gonna have a few minutes where we can ask some questions from you as well. But Judge, you have a unique experience as it relates to our overarching Involve and Evolve initiative, in that you've served as a champion, but now you're serving as the leader. So two different roles, two different ways to serve, and you've kind of seen this thing, and you've seen all the changes that have happened. Um, for everybody out there, is transformation easy?
No, it is not easy. But I do want to take a moment to give a plug and a shout out your to each of you, and especially Denise, and HR. You are the experts. I'm not an expert in employee surveys or transformation. And so I am very grateful to you all for um, taking the lead on this, because I do believe in the surveys and the importance of them. So a couple of years ago, I was asked to lead this here at Municipal Courts. I make sure to meet with all the divisions and encourage employees to participate in the survey. Once we got the results, I think then we had about a 63% participation. This year, I'm not sure the final numbers have come out, but I think we were close to at least 70%. I would have loved to have gotten 100%, but hey, I'm very happy with 70% if that's what our numbers were. But because and then we shared those results with the leadership team. We didn't have the opportunity to dive in to the results and with the employees as much as I would have liked to then. I was so happy that Mayor Whitmire um, was all in on the involve and evolve, um, and that we have done this survey again, because now in this new role that I have, I'm excited about forming some focus groups among all of our divisions, asking employees to participate in the focus groups so we can dive into the results and see what changes that we can make, or what suggestions do employees have, so that we can, um, as you say, evolve as a department. We are not the same municipal courts that we were, even 10 years ago. Even the way we treat citizens in the courtroom has changed. We are a kinder, gentler courthouse. We understand that there are issues that go on in our personal lives and with the citizens, and we're here to try to help them comply with the court orders. We have team members that actually make phone calls to remind citizens that they have a deferred payment plan. We give deferred payment plans, and citizens come and tell us they don't have the money. Back in the day, it'd be like, oh well, you don't have the money by the end of the day, there's going to be a warrant out for your arrest. I mean, I'm not saying that was wrong. That's just the way society was back then. We're different. And it's the same, I feel, with employees, that we want to work with employees and to hear their suggestions, because just because I'm the leader and the other leadership teams that we have, we're not perfect and we're not 100% experts. Sometimes employees really know, have better ideas because they're on the front line, and they can tell us, hey, this might work better if you try this. So I'm very excited about getting the results, working with the HR team that is going to lead us through how to interpret the results, share them with employees, and develop focus groups that will address some of the concerns so we can be an even better municipal courts department. I remember the last time we had this, I did participate in a lot of the meetings, and I remember hearing from other departments. I can't tell you who they were exactly, but they really did a fantastic job of diving in to their results and making changes, even if it was like in the break rooms. Something about the break rooms weren't inviting, and I remember hearing from other departments. So I'm inspired. Again, we have some budgetary constraints, right? I'd love to buy some new furniture and paint the break rooms and create a better atmosphere for staff. But sometimes we have limitations, but there are small things that we can do. So I'm very excited about the next step, working in collaboration with you all, and understanding the results of our surveys, our employee survey, and how to address those with our teams, our employees.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I want to make sure I leave a little time for any questions that our audience may have. Before we turn to audience, I have one question that I had prepared. If you could give one piece of advice to other leaders about using feedback as a tool for transformation, what would it be?
Um, I think it would be to listen to your employees and other leaders. Listen with an open heart, an open mind, and try to incorporate even the smallest of change so that they feel empowered and heard. Again, I've talked about the limitations that we all have. And I mean, but we're all in this together. We're like a family. If you have a family at home, we've talked about that there were challenges growing up in a family of nine, and you know, you have to make concessions, but you also have to make the staff aware of what the limitations are so that they know, well, we can't incorporate this suggestion, but we can incorporate this one because it doesn't involve money, right?
Mhm.
So it's sort of like the example of I was telling you about the bailiffs in the uniform. If it's something that is going to make them happy. I know there was another example about dress code. Um, we didn't used to allow employees to wear any kind of tennis shoes, right? Because we're a courthouse and we want to look professional. But we all know that our building is huge and they have to walk the stairs and everything. So I said, hey, how about if it's black tennis shoes with black soles? They can still be tennis shoes. They look professional. They look like black shoes. And so it's real small things so that's my suggestion, to listen to the employees, their suggestions, and try your best to at least incorporate even the smallest of change to make the employees know that empower them to make the suggestion and to let them know that you do hear them.
Mhm.
Because, as I said, they are the heart and soul of our departments. We could not do what we do here, which is to make sure justice is served without every single one of the staff members that I have. So I think that's the same thing for any department that is here at the city of Houston. You can't do the job without the employees. So that's my suggestion. And again, I'm grateful to you, Ray, for not making me cry on the cameras. Jerry Maguire, you're not gonna make me cry, Ray. So it is an emotional thing for me to be in this position and to have this opportunity. I know we have almost, I have to put on my glasses because I'm the vanity, but we have almost 70 people on the call. So if I've touched just one person on the call with my words today, it's a great thing for me. So thank you for allowing me to. So if anybody has any questions, I'd love to try to respond to any, Ray.
Yes, yes. I was looking in the chat. Consuela can help me out. Consuela, did you see any questions in the chat?
I'm looking now, Ray. I hear people saying that they have enjoyed all of the fun events that have been going on here at municipal courts. I don't see any questions. Basically, feedback about the discussion. Let's see. Grateful for the valuable insights and encouragement you shared, Judge.
Well, let me punt it back for you to you, Ray. So what's a timeline that we can expect so employees can get excited and the leaders can get excited about the next steps? Because I got to block my calendar to make sure that I'm working hand in hand with you guys on these results. Because just so you'll know, like I sent a lot of emails to the staff, and I was very grateful that so many of the staff members took the time um, to respond to the survey. But just as important as of that, I'm looking forward to the next steps to start getting the staff involved on, reviewing the results and what changes we can make.
All right, all right. While I answer this question, if there's someone who does want to come off of mute because it's a webinar, I have to take you off. If you want to raise your hand, I'll see your hand raised and give you an opportunity to ask a question. But I will say, Judge, thank you. Um, the next steps are coming very fast in November. November 5th is the first opportunity, and I want to extend a special invitation to everyone on this webinar because normally some of these events are tied to the group of individuals that have been identified within a department to learn about this, to participate in this in the form of action planning teams and champions and co-champions and catalysts, these terms that we use. But I want to offer a special invitation to anyone who has been on these webinars. We want to make sure that you have an opportunity to participate in day one of our Learn and Plan Summit. And it's just what it sounds like. It's a great opportunity to learn about, involve, and evolve, as well as to plan what the future looks like. And so that's coming up November 5th. Is a virtual opportunity you can jump on just like you did today and be a part of that. And then on November 6th, we're going to have an in-person one. That one is dedicated more specifically to the teams that have been designated specifically to carry the torch. But I want to encourage those who will be coming on the 6th, but I want to just give a special encouragement to those who are on the 5th, because if you can come and learn about, involve, and evolve, if you can come and understand what's going on, when those teams that are meeting on the 6th start to put plans together, you'll be ready to join them in this movement and to move this thing forward. So don't think, if you don't have an official title or something like that, you haven't been called out, that you can't be a part of the movement. You can be a part of the movement. And guess what? Denise has been, what is the word that we use for it, Judge? I don't even know what word to use for a person who, in essence, is a one person strategist execution. She does every part of the gambit on this. But with the changes, I have the pleasure of working with Denise now. Consuela Satin, that introduced himself, she has a little bigger team now, and we can be there for you and assist you. In fact, let me give some kudos to MCD for inviting us out to come and share a little bit about the survey and get you guys involved. But we want many more opportunities to assist and help you. I see Denise is coming on. You want to add to that?
Before you let
Yes.
Denise talk, hold up, Denise. I want to say
Yeah.
something about Denise. You were
Oh,
trying to
Lord.
find the right adjective.
Uh-oh.
I
This
don't
is
even
not what
have the
this is
right
about,
adjective.
people.
Huh?
This is not what this is about. This is for
I
the
know,
folks on the call.
but I do want to just say that she is the kind of person that inspires people to be even a better version of themselves. I've been working with her. We rarely meet in person. It's usually on the phone, but she's always positive. She's super excited about this initiative, and she's always encouraged me on everything that we're doing. You're just amazing, and we are happy. We're lucky at the city of Houston to have you. So, yay, Denise! You're doing an amazing job. Thank you.
I appreciate that so much coming from you. Like you said earlier, though, I'm just in this spot, but it takes all of us. So couldn't do any of this without folks like yourself, other people on the call. And I think we're just getting the kind of momentum that we've been trying to since we stood this up in 2023. So thank you so much for that. But we really are all in this together, driving transformation one change at a time. Look for, gave us a perfect segue, Judge Santos, because we have communications in the works already that will be going out for invitations to virtual day one. And this time we did want to open it up to anybody. It is from 9 to 1, but you'll see communications coming out. We've had so many with the leaderboards and other things coming out, but that's coming out shortly. So anyone can join the virtual. It's November 5th, like I said, from 9 to 1. One of the key areas or key presentations will be the overall city results. That'll be the first place that everybody can find those. We'll also be updating our new website as well as we go along. You'll see some other things that have happened with that, where we've been, where we're headed. And then that next day, for all of the folks that are representing your areas, we come and we learn and plan and have a little fun in between as well. And so we want to equip you to take what you have back and give you some tools and everything to move forward in your respective areas. And with that, what we started this past, we were able to do a couple of them, but we'll also have quarterly collaborative meetings with the folks that are champions and catalysts and action planning team members, any other interested parties or key stakeholders, we call them catalysts, that can be a part of that. So we can keep this going because it is hard work, but it is so worth it because we have amazing people at this organization at every level, and we are in an amazing city. I finally got here. I didn't get here until 2022. My parents got here 34 years before I did, but I love this place. I think it's one of the coolest places on the planet and just happy to serve. So look for more to come. And then you guys, I don't want to take the thunder from Ray and Consuela and our technical producer Satin, but did we not enjoy Judge Santos? You were amazing. I knew you would be. Let's give her, show her some love in the chat and reactions. It was absolutely amazing. Did what we were anticipating to be your authentic self. And we felt your heart throughout this, I'm sure. So very inspiring. We didn't have any questions. I think everybody was just captivated and touched, actually. So we just can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this.
Well,
Right?
thank you, Denise. Thank you so much.
And thank you once again, Judge, for sharing your thoughts. So heartfelt and authentic. We really appreciate that. Consuela, I want to invite you back. Any key takeaways you want to share with the audience before we wrap up today?
Sure. Again, I wanted to thank you, Judge Santos, for sharing your insights. The audience definitely appreciates you. And I want to say to the audience, feedback is enlightening, but it only becomes impactful when we use it to make decisions and initiate change. So, speaking of initiating change, what I heard from Judge Santos, a key takeaway is employees, staff, have the courage to speak up to your leadership with your suggestions. And for those in leadership positions, take a breath, pause before you respond, and try to incorporate employee suggestions, if not 100%, at least a part of it. And because if employees don't feel heard, this can impact how they interact with residents. And also, another key takeaway is coach employees with the intent to help them improve, not with the intent to fire them. And use survey results from the employee engagement survey. One idea among many is to form focus groups that include employees. Hear their suggestions for improvement once you get your survey results. And also, again, listen to employees with an open heart and open mind and try to incorporate suggestions so that they feel heard. And please make staff aware of any limitations. It could be budgetary or other restraints. Make them aware. And if you're thinking about this from the business side, realize that employees are the heart and soul of the departments, and you really can't do the job without employees. And finally, as you've mentioned, for anyone interested and ready to take the next step, mark your calendars for the Learn and Plan Summit, which again is November 5th and 6th. And this summit is designed to set you up for success, as Denise mentioned, give you the tools to help you impact your department with the survey data. We hope to see you there. Ray, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Consuela, for wrapping things up, putting a nice bow on our time here today. I will let you guys know another next step is we will have another driver's seat episode number 5. What we saw and what we'll do. That one will specifically be dealing with the Learning Plan Summit recap, making sure that all of those tools and all of those things that are available to you, that we can go over those things, make sure you have and understand those things. So it'll be a time for us to come back together, after having gone through the experience of the Learn and Plan Summit, and we'll come right back here and figure out how to drive transformation one change at a time. As I wrap up, I really want everyone here today to be empowered with that idea that you can do this, that there are simple things around you every day that are feedback. And you can take those simple things and change them into impact. And so I want to encourage you to do it and do it boldly. And before we go today, I want to offer this opportunity for you to tell us how we're doing in these webinars. Are we giving you the tools that you need? Are we giving you what you need to drive transformation as an individual, as a team, and as an organization? So if you would, please scan this QR code and go in and fill out a survey. It will not take long at all. And you can give us, this is your way to practice speaking up, right? This is your first opportunity to let your voice be heard again as it pertains specifically to this webinar. But I want to thank you in advance for everybody who's going on there doing it even right now. Thank you so much for doing that. Make sure that you tell somebody else about the driver's seat, that we'll be doing this every month. And so we'll be looking forward to seeing you again. I have 10:56, and in a world where there's a lot of meetings, even this last 4 minutes is a gift that I want to give to you. Thank you, everybody, for coming and joining us today. Myself and the team are going to hang back in case there's any remaining questions or anything out there. But please enjoy the rest of your, as Satin says, Friday Eve. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Once again, hanging around. If there are any questions, anything that you need us to help with, just let me know in the chat or raise your hand if you want to ask out loud. I'm here for you if you need me. With myself and the team.
Wayne,
Yes.
is there a link to the evaluation?
Let's pull it. Oh, wait a minute. All right, in our chat. It's right there in the chat, Consuelo. It should. I thought it was there, but I had to dig it up. Judge, I'm showing that you're still on. Thank you so much again. You did a wonderful, wonderful job today.
Judge, you received a lot of positive feedback. They loved what you had to say.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray.
It was a pleasure. I'm looking forward to working with you more in the future.
Me too. Me too. You're a lot of fun. Your questions were, you were an excellent moderator, or no, you weren't a moderator, you were the host. So thank you for that.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. All right, everybody. Thank you once again. I didn't see any questions or anything, so I'm going to close our meeting for today. A recording should show up in the chat. You also should get a reminder once that recording is ready. But if you have any questions or anything, please, please feel free to reach out. Bye bye. Thank you.